How you doing, Shannon? Good to see you. Shannon, if you have a second, would love for you to just put your name in the chat so we have a running list of who's on virtually. I'll state it again when we open officially.
Good evening, folks. My apologies. I heard my name. Sorry, I was away from the office. I just logged in early. Hi there.
Hey, no, I was just saying welcome and was going to ask you to put your name in the chat for folks who are new to us, and also so we can have like a nice list of who's here virtually.
Always. I am be happy to. I'm just backgrounding and didn't want to be rude when I heard my name. I'll make sure to take care of it as soon as I get back.
All right, appreciate you.
Of course. Appreciate you folks. Thanks.
Good evening, everyone. We're gonna give folks a few more minutes to get here, so we're gonna try and start at 6:35. Trying to see if we can establish quorum, waiting for a few members to get here to do that. So bear with us and we'll start at 6:35. Good evening. Feel free to go ahead and write your names in the chat so we have a running list of who's joining us virtually, and we'll get started soon. All right, everyone, good evening. We're gonna go ahead and call our December Landmarks Preservation and Parks meeting to order at 6:35. We were trying to give folks a few more minutes to get here to establish quorum. We're gonna go ahead and do a quick roll call. So we will start with Marquise Bell.
Here.
Savage here. Alexander Abraham joining us virtually. Present. Andrea Brecker joining us virtually. Gregory Brito. We've got Patricia Caldwell. Dijon Delfino. All right. Heather Jason. Present. Tiago Piel. Absent. And Christina Maria Lopez. All right. So we have established quorum. We can go ahead and take care of the committee business today. So we're gonna go ahead and present the December 2025 agenda. Or no one has any objections to the agenda?
I have an objection.
Okay.
I don't understand why we have a closed session. There's an open meetings law. There shouldn't be a closed session for meeting procedure. That should embody public, yes, and members.
So there's a motion to remove the closed session and make an open one. If there's a second, we can have a discussion. There's a second to that.
The closed one.
If there's a point of clarification, I can share that it was a closed session because committees do that at times, and we were going to use that out.
For specific reasons. There's
Yeah.
specific reasons, like if it's something personal, medical issue, a police, something that's supposed to be private, but the way we run the meetings would benefit everyone.
Well, this was housekeeping. It was specifically around some meeting procedures that we were going to use. But if you want it open, I think.
Do we have a second?
Do we have a second for it
We should have
to change?
transparency, all of our, we have an open meeting law.
We have a second.
Do we have a second for?
And I open this for discussion.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And for just a second, is that I think that in certain instances, we have, when the committee has a quorum and they make a vote, that they should be able to vote without those parties sometimes, which may be volatile, sitting right there. So I think that even in I going into a board meeting, there were words said or whatever, but when the vote came, only the members of that board could make the vote. So I see that as part of a parliamentary procedure that you have been using already.
Yeah, so we have a motion for the closed session to,
So I make a motion, in light of that, I make a motion that in light of what I just said, that we reserve the right to decide whether or not it would be appropriate to close session in order to make a vote or speak of something inclusive. I'm trying to be all inclusive with somebody's personal business or whatever.
so I'll reiterate that the closed session was selected so that we could take care of some housekeeping.
What does housekeeping mean?
Just for us to go over procedures to sort of get on the same page, to help our meetings flow. It was something that didn't really require our community partners to be present and witness. So
Put it in the meetings.
Not in our-
Meeting to law.
not in our housekeeping in terms of keeping our procedures moving.
It's an open, I don't understand why you would want to close out the public from our
We don't
meeting.
have to, like I said, we want to do a second or to what you said, Ms. Caldwell, we're going to do.
Or we could table it until another time if that's what you're gonna do and leave it as is.
I mean,
So there's a motion
There's a motion
to
still.
change the agenda. In order for that motion to carry, it needs to be seconded. If there's
Yeah.
not a second, then the agenda stays as is.
and then I request that you give the specific law that states that we can close the meeting for the purpose that you're stating. I don't see that anywhere in the law.
So I'm happy to share the language on where we are allowed to follow that path, after the meeting. I don't see a second, so looks like the motion to adopt the December agenda as is carries.
I
Right.
appeal. The meetings are supposed to be open.
So it's a majority, right?
It's a majority.
I
So,
vote yes,
all right,
keep it.
all right.
Everybody
Can I-
else will
Can I
do.
get a vote then? Sounds like there's one no. To adopt the December agenda as is.
Take the vote, if you
Yeah.
wanna take the roll call, just do it like that.
We'll do that. Marquise Bell,
That's what we have a quorum means. There's
Yep,
a majority
Marquise.
of us here.
is a yes to keep the agenda as is. Veronica Rivera is a yes. Folks who are online virtually aren't allowed to vote, so we're going to go on to Patricia Falwell, who said yes. Keaton? Yes. Yes. And then Jason,
No, so meetings are supposed to be open to the public.
thank you for that. Christina? All right. All right. Next, order of business, and we're gonna try.
What's the count?
Oh, so the count is, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses and 1 no.
So the yes is in.
So the yeses have it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Motion to adopt November's 2025 minutes. Are there any changes?
Yes, there are changes that I brought up before. I thought of point of order. And that was, to remove the Dakota Alliance, and that was due to the fact that Ms. Caldwell had previously informed the committee that, the item had been brought before the general board twice. That's not in the minutes. And it been voted on twice to not approve that item. And that the presentation that was presented was the exact same presentation that we saw from a year ago. That wasn't in the minutes. And the co-chairs did not provide any evidence of if an emergency condition. We didn't see any type of proof or evidence of the emergency condition. And it turned out that it was a roof leak, which was a maintenance issue. And if there were emergency conditions, then it just seemed odd to me that the applicant was inviting the community board and the community at large to the place for events. And if there were events going on, then that would just prove that there was no emergency condition. She had previously brought up the reduction of the bulkhead that was in the presentation from last year. And this committee cannot overturn a general board vote. That was done on 2 occasions, so it was improper for that to have been brought before this committee. And additionally, I did email that there were some people who were omitted from the attendance last time.
Have you taken a look at the minutes that have been distributed tonight?
Yes, I did, and I do not see Scott Oliver on there, who was in attendance at last month's meeting. I did not see there was a person online by the name of RABI. His iPhone, he's not on the list, and neither was, I'll spell the name, YAOTUNDE. Last name OBIORA. This person was in attendance, and that person is not appearing, not the attendance.
Thank you for that.
In addition to that, the Dakota Alliance is not the applicant. The applicant is the owner of the building. And then there's something that's stated in the minutes that claims that it was, stated that the SRO was illegal, that the SRO is not illegal, it's illegal, it's a legal SRO that's being converted, so it's not the point that the SRO is illegal, it is a legal restricted SRO. And so you need to correct that in the minutes so that
So,
it's stated correctly.
so I'll
She's
ask,
occupying it in illegally in, not according to the certificate of occupancy, which is a legal SRO, but you state in the minutes that the SRO is illegal and that's inaccurate. I just want to make that connection.
Thank you. if you can send those when we send out the minutes and we ask for corrections, that's really helpful.
I did,
That's
I did
ideally
that
the
and-
time.
and-
I don't remember those
right.
names being added,
I
but
said
if
that
you
there,
could,
no, when I.
you
when
just
I
said in
stated-
general.
Miss Savage, I do not want to talk over you when you ask me a question, I'm very happy to answer. When you did send out an email and I did alert you to that, and you said that you were going to correct the name, so I assumed that you knew what the names were. And so that's why it wasn't necessary for me to follow up and provide you with the names, because you said you were going to do that.
So thank you for the names. We will add those, and we will correct the SRO language. I will, open up for discussion the earlier points, which was, it wasn't improper to have CODA join us. Again, I'll remind everyone, they came at the request of the CB9 chair, who asked us to make space for them because they reported an emergency leak in their building. Our job as a committee is not to fact check that, but when someone asks for a space to give them the opportunity to present their case, I agree, they did not explain in a convincing way how that leak was an urgent matter and impacted the structure of the building inside, but we, as a community board, have to give them the space to do that. And I will say that the minutes are also not a tit for tat sort of verbatim of the discussions that are had. It's an overview of the outcomes. And so just to remind us of that.
Yes.
Thank you,
Ms. Caldwell?
Yes, these are open meetings and we're supposed to be open to all of our public constituents. It's very important that every voice is heard. However, we also have procedures, and part of our procedures, unless it's going to be changed, and it's up to the committee to change the procedures, is when people come before us, they're supposed to provide us with information in advance, and that was not done. And so if we had been provided with the information in advance, we never would have had that.
So I'll just say really quickly that when possible, ideally, that is what we want to happen. I'll use tonight as an example. The presentation was sent at the last minute, and so there are times where information, a case is brought to the committee that's an emergency. You know, we make space for them and we don't always have the time to go through those proper channels. And so
That's
in
fine,
that
but
case, right,
in this
last
case,
month, can I
we
finish?
have- we
Can I
have
finish?
agenda
Can I
items
finish,
with
please?
these on
Can
the
I
agenda.
finish?
It was
Last
on the
month,
agenda.
that was the case. This was an emergency call to this committee to make space to hear about an emergency condition affecting a structure in our community. And we made space for them. No decisions were made, right? We didn't vote on giving them approval. And based on what they presented,
Respectfully, Ms. Savage, you said that you did visit the site, so when you visited the site, you should have taken pictures for us and shown us what those emergency conditions were.
so
So you
yeah.
visited the site
Yeah.
personally.
All right.
So you, and at the time you visited, the applicant should have showed you those emergency conditions and you could have shared that with us.
So your motion is what?
Can I make a statement, please? Last week we spoke, we had to have a meeting because the president or the chairperson Edwards came in and said that we must do that. But in fact, according to what was going on, we decided based on what was said to not make a vote on that day, but also with the codicil stipulation that you would bring a copy of what the general board had already voted on, which had been twice against that. And what do you call that? Is that what they get?
We said we would send it out to the committee and we did.
You did, did you send it out?
We sent it out to
Yeah.
everyone.
We didn't say-
Okay, I'm sorry, I get a lot, I'm not gonna say. So basically, with that being done, right? And according to Robert's rules, which will not ever be changed anywhere, it stands to reason that there was no need, that situation was not of an emergency to this committee,
Correct.
because that's within their house. Anything other than talking about what belongs on the roof that was already voted on, or what's happening in their house, they got a leak, that's on them. we're only worrying about the exterior, make sure that you are,
So I wanna try
yeah.
and move us along.
That's
So
it.
I'm asking again.
so we ask that in the future that we make sure that if it has been what I ask you to find out, because I don't know. Is can we figure out that if they have already written, what do you call them again? Or a writ or whatever at the general board meeting and at our, when we have that meeting and it's going through to the borough president, to this, to that, the other, we had 2 of them on code.
So this continues to be a really,
So in other words, the question is it valid for it to be
Yeah.
going back up
So,
as our?
I'd like to make a motion that we table adopting the minutes, till next month, so we can.
I'll second that.
Just one.
And so there's a second, can we get a vote to table?
You said in the minutes.
Got one.
There was no
Vote
vote.
this.
And
I understand.
So you have to state in the minutes what the vote is, and you stated in these minutes there was a vote last time, but the vote count is not in the minutes.
Again, the motion has been made to table adopting November's minutes because of these areas of contention. It's been seconded by Ms. Caldwell. We're asking for a vote in order to move on, and folks can just, how many yays?
I think it might be better to just go down the list and take the names. I think that might be the best idea.
To yes is to table, no is not, is to.
All right.
Yeah, yes, it's the table, right?
Okay.
Yes, it's to table. Mark
Yes.
Spell,
Yes.
Veronica Savage, yes. We're gonna go with folks who are present. Patricia Caldwell.
Yes.
Seconded. Dijon Delpino.
Yes.
Heather Jason.
Yes.
Christina. All right, so we're gonna move on to our,
And I just wanna make a
Yes.
simple motion that those are
let
just.
let me give the count real quick.
I'm sorry.
So we've got, again, we've got 6 yeses, so the motion carries to table the November 2025 minutes. We are gonna move on, just to keep things flowing, we have a presentation tonight. Around woodland restoration happening at Riverside Park. We've got John Harold here, who's the Riverside Park Administrator. I'm gonna hand it over to him to introduce the team that he's brought on, to talk about, this really.
Good. Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Nice to see you. I'm John Harold. I'm the Riverside Park Administrator, and we appreciate your giving us your time tonight. We will be respectful of it. Some colleagues and I are here this evening to tell you about some important and exciting work that's coming to Riverside Park in Community Board 9 that is going to have wide-ranging benefits for the health of the community, the health and sustainability of the park, and even the wildlife, the native wildlife that is occupying the park. When I say this project has pulled together a team from 2 different divisions within the Parks Department and 2 of our critical partner conservancy partners, and we're all here. I'm going to very quickly introduce my team that is here and then turn it over to some of the others. With me tonight is Margaret Bracken, who I think you know is Riverside Park's landscape architect and chief of design. And a person that you do not know is Gary Rothman, who is Riverside Park's new park manager. This is his first visit to you tonight. And with that, the other group who's not represented here is the Parks Department's Natural Resources Group, part of Environment and Planning. They are playing a very critical role in this project. I would like to turn this over to Merritt Birnbaum of the Riverside Park Conservancy, and she has a lot of information to share with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here with you all. I know that you know our wonderful Stephanie Caban very well from her regular updates on our activities. Thank you, Stephanie.
Stephanie.
Here to join her in introducing this new, really exciting project. Also want to introduce another new face to you, Harrison Nesbitt, who just joined the Conservancy 3 weeks I think 2 weeks, yes, as our new Director of Sustainability, replacing previously Anastasia Golkowski, who was in that role, and some of you may remember from previous interactions. But we're really excited to talk to you about this woodland restoration project. So I'm going to share my screen. I think actually, well, I'll get started. I'll just introduce Helen, who you'll hear from during the presentation. Helen Forgione, who is with our partners at the Natural Areas Conservancy. And together we're going to talk to you about this really exciting project. So is that working for everyone?
That's clear. Yep. Thank you.
And then hopefully this is working as just a single slide. Yes, good.
And
Great.
I'll just remind her that everyone's got copies on the table if you didn't grab some, so you can follow along.
I'd like to thank you.
Perfect. So as John mentioned, this is really a three-partner project, with the fourth partner obviously being the community. And so we wanted to come to the community board as a first step before any work begins to talk to you about what is planned for this area. We talk a lot about the urban forest, and that has been described loosely as really all of the trees in New York City, including the street trees and the park trees. But one of the things that is really unique about Riverside Park is that we actually have natural areas and mapped forest within the park, and areas that have stands of trees that maybe are not mapped specifically as forever wild, but are actually really considered to be contributing parts of a forest ecosystem. And our goal is to manage and protect these areas and to work in partnership with local communities. It takes a village to take care of a forest. And we want healthy forests in our city to benefit all of the people and to really achieve so much of what we need to make a healthier, more livable city. So the area that we're looking at for this project, and I have the map in front of you, is sort of sections. Riverside has all of these crisscrossing pieces of transportation infrastructure and dividing points. Essentially, it's 7.5 acres bordered by Riverside Drive to the east and the West Side Highway to the west. But then through the middle, we have the Amtrak Railway, complicating things. And then, everyone knows that it's a big challenge accessing the river and our beautiful waterfront. We wish there were more access points, but we have three main crossover points. The crossover that goes to Riverbank State Park, and then you can take that down into the waterfront directly. We have the 148th Street stairs that go to the 10-mile playground area. And then, of course, the 151st Street bridge that's ADA accessible. Between all of that, and particularly in what's mapped as 2 on here, are these very steep river-facing slopes. All of this is mapped as public parkland. It is not really accessible to pedestrians, but it is very much interwoven part of the forest ecosystem and the other natural areas of the park that contributes to the health of the park and the neighborhood. And as you can see, these areas have been under stress for decades. I don't need to tell anyone in this room the condition that the forest is in, which is hurting. The degradation of the natural environment also leads to, making it harder to prevent the litter and the debris of fallen trees from accumulating. It makes it harder to keep the area clean. And our goal is to use private funding from a very generous donor, Tree Bed LLC, who's committed to many tree projects in the city, who has committed to a long haul project over 4 years, $3.25 million to very thoughtful conservation of this forested area and these trees, working together with our conservation experts who I'm about to turn it over to help this forested area recover and create a healthy new baseline to work with us and the community to figure out what's needed to continue a cycle of care for this area so that we can ensure that it doesn't fall back into a degraded condition, but is kept healthy. Working with Stephanie, working with our great community of volunteers after the restoration work and the major conservation piece has kind of been solidified to figure out what the long-term maintenance plan looks like. So also, this is, I think, a fairly obvious slide, but I always like to stress how much we all benefit from a healthy urban forest. It's so much cooler. It helps to filter the pollution, amazing amount of carbon storage. It really helps with the flooding and erosion that plagues us, particularly with steep slopes along the river. Really supports biodiversity, not just in the immediate area, but the whole flyway along the river, all of the other natural areas in the park. And of course, being near trees supports our own mental health and well-being and fosters stress, much more stress-free environment for all of us. So trees and a forested environment are so important. This gives you a bit of a sort of, most of these pictures are from the summer. So you can see a bit of what the area looks like. There's quite a number of very tall trees, mature trees in the area that we're looking forward to, really creating a healthy environment for those trees to continue growing and thriving, and creating a space and views that the community can enjoy for years to come. So this gives you a bit of the bird's eye view of what we're talking about. And I think I'm going to turn it over to Helen to talk a bit about the approach to the restoration and what that looks like.
Great. Thank you, Merritt. As Merritt said before, I'm Helen Forgione. I'm the Senior Manager for Conservation Science at the Natural Areas Conservancy. We're a nonprofit organization that works in partnership with New York City Parks and with other park conservancies to increase the health and well-being of our natural spaces in the city. So I'm really happy to be a partner in this project and work in the project management and of this wonderful 3-year project. So in general, the goal of this work is to return the 7 acres of forested parkland to a more healthy condition. And we're going to approach this in 4 different ways. The first is to reduce clear and remove the accumulated trash and debris that has built up over time in the area. We'll also work with a contractor and to manage and reduce the invasive plants which have degraded the condition of the forest, both by increased vines that harm the native trees and taking up a lot of space that prevents natural regeneration from happening. This also harms the forest by not providing the native plants that our wildlife rely upon. So this has like a multifaceted benefit for increasing the health of these 7 acres. We will also be, as those invasive plants are controlled and removed from the site, we'll be planting a diverse palette of native trees, shrubs, and herbaceous plants within the 7 acres among all of the sites. And that will happen as these areas are improved. We'll also be installing some erosion control, some biodegradable erosion control on the steep slopes to make sure that we are keeping them stabilized as we do this work. And then with each one of the plantings and the management practices, will be employing ongoing maintenance and stewardship, correcting the conditions that we see popping up during the project. So next slide. Great. Yes, so this is a wonderful project made possible by our generous donor to Riverside Park Conservancy. And we're beginning, this is sort of a timeline of what will happen first. In the new year, in 2026, we'll begin by inventorying what trees are on the site. Then the next steps are, after we receive our permits and we're making sure we are going through the proper channels, we'll start to remove the trash and large debris from the site, install our erosion control, manage our invasive plant growth, and we'll begin our first planting of trees and shrubs. In the ongoing years, 2027, 2028, we'll continue to manage any regrowth of invasive plants and ongoing trash removal, which will be monitored by Riverside Park Conservancy, any kind of trash removal. We'll plant new trees and shrubs in additional cleared areas. And then in the final year of the project, we will assess the conditions and make any replacements from plant material that hasn't survived, and continue by establishing a ongoing maintenance program for the site so that the forest can be cared for and continue to thrive. Next slide. And so our outcomes and what we are looking forward to seeing happening on the site is that we'll have a more healthy, diverse, climate resilient forest condition in the parkland. And that edge will help make our communities surrounding the park more connected to the riverfront, more able to enjoy and appreciate the wildlife that is enhanced there. And really importantly, it's not a one and done sort of thing. The ongoing stewardship that is kicked off by this project will continue to maintain this site into the future. And I will turn it over to you, Merritt, for our partnership slide here.
So just to kind of wrap up, where we see this, obviously we explained the partnership role, so I won't belabor this, but we're looking forward to this as a very collaborative experience. It's really the first of its kind on this scale for us in Riverside. So it's going to be exciting to watch it evolve. And we're having every other week calls with all of our partners. We are looking forward to a long evolving relationship and managing, learning from each other and learning best practices of how to hopefully implement this in other areas. Riverside is unique, but hopefully this model can serve in other neighborhoods in the city as well. And then to touch on what I was talking about earlier and all of the great work that Stephanie has been doing and many members in this room, in fact, really what has kind of made this project possible and feel within reach for us is the work that we have already been doing with so many members living near this area. We just this year, Stephanie ran the numbers on all of the volunteer activity happening in the northern sections of Riverside Park, and it's astounding how many volunteers we have working with us now. We really see this project as being shaped by neighborhood collaboration and open communication. So you will expect to hear from us a lot. And we're planning a lot of regular activities, volunteer activities, but also just a lot of touch points of things to do in relation to the forest and learning about the trees and learning about how we're going to improve biodiversity and think about the space in a different way. I did want to mention, because I also know I've come before the whole community board before when we were talking about the goats. And I think wanted to make sure that everyone knows that while we will be working in the hoof prints of the goats for the last 2 summers, they really did help connect us so much to everyone living right in this area who came out to help us monitor and cheer on our 4-legged friends. The goats did a great job preparing this area, and it's going to make it easier for us to come in and start the restoration work. And they're not going far. I can't confirm the exact site, but we are already working with our friends at Jenny's Garden about a new site in the neighborhood for the goats to do some additional work. And so they will be relocated nearby, not to worry. And then just highlighting the great work of our existing volunteer groups. We love, I saw Shannon come on earlier. Thank you to our amazing friends at Dog Run 142. Of course, our amazing Riverside Valley Community Garden, the Ralph Ellison Statue Committee, our park tenders, which have been growing in number in North Park and take care of a lot of the spaces on Riverside Drive. And then so many volunteer days that we've had both big groups and regular place partner opportunities that work in small groups throughout the park. And we see this initiative as being kind of a new opportunity for involvement with the community. We're going to be launching a new page on our website where we'll be posting regular updates about what's happening with the forest. We're very excited about our ability to kind of capture a lot of really interesting information about all of the trees down to a very granular level about what's there and what's being planted, so people can learn about the health of the forest and how the restoration is going. And then we're already thinking about some really exciting events, walks, tours, things that I think will be really interesting to the community. And I know Stephanie also has a lot of ideas about ways that we can make this something that will not only be of long-term benefit, but also have some great learning opportunities and ways for people to get involved beyond volunteering, but also just with free, fun, and engaging events as well. So that is
You.
the end of the
Thank you.
presentation.
Okay.
So really exciting to see Northern Manhattan parks get the attention they deserve. To have a large scale project invest in this way is delightful to hear. Definitely going to open up to questions, but 7 acres that's a large area. It's a lot to tackle. And so I think one of my questions is, does this project come with employment? Like, are there jobs that we're hiring for this? Are we hiring locally for that? Just wondering what's the team that's gonna do the work and where are they coming from?
Sure, I can start a little bit with that because I think there's several pieces. So the Conservancy will be hiring 3 positions on our end. One to work directly with Stephanie on the community outreach piece, and 2 more field tech type positions on our operations team to work with Manny, who many of you know, to more support the trash maintenance and to learn about the project as it's happening. The majority of the work will be undertaken by a skilled forestry contractor because it is so technical and requires very expensive equipment. And so that contractor is being hired by Natural Areas Conservancy. The contractor's name is Davy. They're one of probably 2 options for major forestry work of this nature. They work in parks all across the city. Helen can answer more questions about their connection to the neighborhood and also kind of how they work, but there will be those sort of immediate positions at the Conservancy. We also anticipate that there will be tons of involvement with our Teen Corps and this project. So lots of opportunity for the summer paid employment program that we offer for our teens to have a lot of, paid opportunity to work through that. And then we definitely see it as a pipeline to future jobs and employment in relation to the project, because it
Okay,
means building staff on the Conservancy side to take care of the area in perpetuity.
Well, that's a lot to take in. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna open it up to see if there are any
I have some.
questions. Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful area that you decided to restore the woodland that was already there. One of the things about New York is, especially in the Riverside Drive area, are the donations from other countries and whatnot of the trees that we get there. So sometimes it is good to maintain what we already have. Because that is the nuance of New York and its inclusivity. But I wanted to get back to, it's a wonderful area that you picked. Over there and up there, they have just restored. They entered a bike lane and they put a walkway up there. Now I'm very familiar because I went to school there in that region. I also have walked there, played Riverside Drive. It's always been a beautiful area, but I'm sure since the construction of expanding the street walk and all the rest of that, it has caused it to have some debris. But on the norm, it has usually been kept pretty clean. And I can say that for more than 35 years. And I'm being conservative without giving away my age, okay? So, what I am asking though, question. I see that you have New York City. You're not, from my understanding, you're not using funding from out the budget of the New York Parks Department. You're using private funding. And my understanding is that even though, because the insignia of the New York Department of Parks Department is on this presentation you have, that you would be under the New York Parks Department?
So we operate with a license agreement. The Riverside Park Conservancy is basically we have permission to work on park land. The park is owned and operated and stewarded by the Parks Department, and we are their partner. So it's a partner operation, but we are paying for it with the private money, not the city's money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So they have their arborists, and we're familiar because that's the committee we are. They have arborists and this and that and the other that know about the foliage and keeping up the woodland. I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it's good to put the nuance back, especially up there where you're talking about around Grant's Tomb, Riverside Church, all the there are a lot of private schools and all the rest of it up that way. So, but also you're coming around on the other side and looking at that map. Are you talking about Claremont Avenue? Because there's Riverside. Then the map that you show where you're gonna have the red marks that you're doing is that
It's
going
actually a bit higher than that. It's the area in the 140s, closer to it's right by the state park area. So it's higher than the area that you're speaking of by Grant's Tomb, although that is I know the area you're talking about, and we have actually there has been a woodland restoration project already happening in that area. The Natural Resources Group has been working on
right,
for several
right.
years.
Mary, could you highlight what the perimeter of the project space is?
Yeah, it's 143 to 153, basically.
One bit.
Right up to Trinity, the cemetery.
And you said 2026 is when it's starting, January 2026, right away?
Approximately, yes. It's a good time because you can see everything. Everything is cleared. in terms of.
I think my only, if there aren't any other questions, there's one. Will the best practices
see
be
Ira.
shared with our other historic parks in the area, St. Nicholas, Morningside? There's so much to learn. It'd be, it's just a wonderful way to sort of
Yes.
turnkey the wisdom, right?
We actually have been working on a toolkit already with work that we've been doing to date on forest restoration and thinking about how we can be a good partner in caring for trees. So this will be part of that ongoing work that we can share with every other conservancy group.
So it's a win-win. There's two more questions in the audience and then we'll try and close out, and maybe you can end with, is there a specific ask you need from this committee at this point?
John Richards has his hand raised, by the way.
Okay. Can we grab Shannon first, and then we'll go to Ira and then Heather. Go ahead, Shannon.
Oh, that's generous. Ira, my apologies. I saw your hand come up and I didn't mean to cut you off. Real quick, and specifically responding to Reverend Caldwell, who I haven't had the pleasure of seeing since this summer over at the Edgecombe Avenue Garden. You know, you folks have seen me on all these calls. You know, it's been my pleasure to be a registered volunteer under the Riverside Park Conservancy and working very closely with the Parks Department, by extension then with the community board and with the district council member around the dog run project, which was ribbon cut this spring. Stephanie is an outstanding representative of Riverside Park Conservancy. She's a wonderful North Park coordinator. She's developed that relationship along this section of the park in ways that bring a lot of pride to the diverse community that continues to remain diverse, but also change in different representational ways. But this summer we had the opportunity, the dog run community, recognizing that we've got this wonderful new asset. And so we've got new time and new opportunities to give in other spaces because the dog run itself requires less now. And so we did a volunteer garden cleanup. And we had a handful of folks who came out and helped pick invasives and the rest of it. My point being that I think the community board will benefit from helping to get this message out to continue developing community representation and engagement along this stretch, because it is quite incredible, the folks that walk up and down and see this work being done by the Conservancy's gardeners and staff and asking for ways to engage. And it really starts to pull development in the North Park back into the people, which has often been an issue. So if there's anything, I can't speak for every individual dog owner that comes to Dog Run 142, but I can, for the most part, speak to our community. We look forward to supporting the outcomes. We look forward to supporting the concept of, see, that's what I get for dropping, for ongoing stewardship and partnership. And we look forward to bringing out shovels and rakes and bodies to come out. We're excited to help, and we're available to support this. We're excited for it.
Great, Shannon. It's going to take all of that.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Thank you for being such a great partner.
We've got a question from Ira and one
It's
from
probably
Heather.
just two comments.
Mm.
It is a beautiful area. I walked down alongside it from Ralph Ellison Square, Plaza, whatever, down to Riverbank State Park, and it is gorgeous. It's drop dead gorgeous, very wide. The comment, I would like to see you working with DSNY and 311, because I tried to call on a complaint, illegal dumping complaint on that area, and I cannot, because 311 does not take GPS. It only takes street numbers. And on that side of the street, there are no street numbers. Also, is Roland Lewis, the CEO of Treebed, is it the same Roland Lewis from the Waterfront Alliance?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. That's it.
Inquiring minds wanted to know.
Oh.
Thank you. Heather, you had a question?
And thank you, I do want to add to Ira's comment. Thank you for that note, and we definitely will be in contact with DSNY about that, because we do want, particularly as this project is going on, we want to know about any illegal dumping. So for now, whenever you want to report it as the project gets going, you should report it to us, Ira, and also we will,
And to the Parks Department as well.
yes, like
Ira, Ira, when it's in the park, it's not a sanitation issue. It's a Parks Department issue. So
Well,
reach out. You know how to find me.
a lot of the stuff that I saw, and I actually photographed, was right by the fence.
Yep.
Illegal dumping right over the
Yep.
fence.
Yep.
You know, a
Yep.
mirror, a vanity, and this was really old stuff.
That is part of to kind of your question and to what Shannon was saying earlier about what we would love to see as an action item is getting the word out. We want, I mean, everything I hear from people is about how much they love trees. I do, you know, we've done a lot to try to think about ways that we can support the trees in the park throughout the 6 miles of Riverside. We've planted new street trees. Some of those were supported by Tree Bed, putting in new street trees along the drive, other initiatives. We want people to feel really attached to the trees and kind of protective of them. So if people see that dumping is going on, you know, trying to help us prevent it, trying to ensure that the spaces are, that the new plantings aren't getting damaged, you know, trying to, we discussed the best ways to do that, and we don't want to put up any fences while this project is going on because it's not helpful in terms of creating that connection to the community that we want to see happen. So we need other ways. And I think that everyone on the community board and everybody in the community can be that protective layer for this project and can help us steward and take care of the forest because we know how much it means to all of you. And, you know, as you said, Ira, I think it's somebody coming by and deciding, hey, this is the place I'm going to dump my old stuff. I don't think it's someone walking across the street from their apartment and deciding to do it. So we can all work together to try to protect this space and steward it.
Thank you. We're gonna close out with Heather's question as the last one, and then we'll get the word out.
Thank you.
Are you seeking to maintain or increase the tree canopy within the forest restoration? And I say that in light of the Million More Trees initiative. I'm just wondering how that relates to what your intentions are.
Helen,
And
you want
if you know the percentage of tree canopy that you're seeking to achieve, that also would be helpful.
Wow. Yeah, I can speak to that for sure. So that's a great question. So the work that we're proposing and looking forward to accomplishing in the park feeds into what a citywide initiative called Urban Forest Plan, and that seeks to increase canopy coverage within all of the city. It also connects to another plan that has been adopted by New York City Parks Department and co-produced with the Natural Areas Conservancy that's called the Forest Management Framework. And that looks specifically at the natural area parks or the natural forest area of what we're talking about in this section of Riverside Park. And there, you know, the goal is to have the best condition forest, the healthiest forest. And sometimes that doesn't mean, you know, having a completely closed canopy, but it means ensuring that all of the trees that are growing there are healthy, ensuring that that it's a resilient forest that can continue to grow and provide wildlife habitat. So you know, that while we don't have a particular canopy closure goal, our goal is to have the healthiest forest we can there. And you know, I hope that answers your question. And off the top of my head, I don't know the canopy closure or canopy coverage in that part of the park.
Helen, could I add something real quick that I think will help you answer your question to Heather?
Yeah.
I know, given my familiarization between 139 up to 143, that we've lost 1 or 2 or 3 London planes. We lost one in the playground there in Riverside Park due to storm. We lost one along the drive that was recently replaced along Riverside Drive around 139th. So I guess to Heather's question about canopy, part of the forestry restoration and protection will also help to facilitate and support the trees that we do have in that area, make them healthier, more resistant, stronger, so that they're better position down the road to resist some of these environmental factors we're seeing, so we don't lose these mature trees and end up having to replace them with immature trees that take time to develop. So we gain benefit from also protecting the canopy we have through this initiative. Fair?
Yeah, that's why it's about maintaining and increase.
It's a great focus. Yeah,
Yeah.
to take care of what we have.
You answered the question. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited about seeing how the next 4 years unfolds. Good luck with 2026. And we will definitely keep this front and center. We've got a general board meeting this month, and so we'll make sure to have PowerPoint available and maybe just, you know, share during the public session that this is coming to West Harlem.
And anything that you need from us or any questions that anyone has, please reach out to us at any point. Thank you.
You're invited to join us at the general board meeting. That's an audience there and a chance to get more visibility. So
Yeah, absolutely. If that would be, I can keep it tighter, the presentation.
3 minutes.
yeah, we gave you
We'd be
double
happy
the
to.
time we normally do because the project is so large in scale.
Like 4 times.
But thank you so much.
They give you 3 minutes at the
I can
general.
do 3
board
minutes. We
meeting.
can do 3 minutes. We'll be quick.
All right. So we're gonna
As a
say
public speaker, 3 minutes.
we're gonna keep working our way through the agenda. We have.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
John, nice to see you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Yes, John.
We also had on the agenda, a visit from, the Manhattan Borough President's Liaison, Sean Brannon. Unfortunately, he had a scheduling conflict. He's at the general board meeting for CB10. So he's not able to join us, but, he has committed to helping us, during this mayoral transition to see how the leadership at LPC transitions, get us, you know, connected to the new team, when that team is established. And that'll be really pivotal and important for a lot of the preservation work that's sort of on stall, and while waiting for this transition to take place. So also in the handouts out there, we have just some information around how LPC is composed, how they choose their 11 commissioners, what their roles and responsibilities are. So that's available to committee members just to get familiar with how this city agency regulates our landmarks. So we'll go ahead and move on to our community partners, offering everyone 2 to 3 minutes to share announcements for their December programming and events. It's the holidays. I know the parks are bustling with lots of celebration. So we'll go ahead and segue to that. We've got Leslie Wright from Denny Farrell Riverbank State Park up first. Welcome. Happy December.
Hi, happy December. How are you all? I have to say that it is a thrill to hear about our neighbor park's reforestation down at the riverfront. So go Riverside Park Conservancy and reforestation. That's fantastic. At Riverbank, you know, we ice skating is in full swing. Mother Nature's been super cooperative this year. Our skating rink opened right on time at the beginning of November, and we have public skating. We have all sorts of ice hockey programs, both leagues and folks playing, and then Learn to Play, the junior program league with the New York Rangers. We have senior Learn to Skate. Come on now. That's every Wednesday, 9 to 10. So please, please, please make your way over there if you feel like skating or just watching and enjoying the music, whatever interests you. We have a number of great performances coming up on Thursday, December 11th, in our Young People's Performance Program series. We have the East Harlem Repertory Theater performing Scrooge at 10:30 in the morning. It's targeted for grades kindergarten through 5th, but that doesn't matter. You can go. It's free. And then we have a really cool thing. It's an in-house. We have our in-house environmental educators that travel around the whole region of New York State parks in the city, and they have an extraordinary series of home-developed puppet shows, all on environmental themes. So on Friday, December 12th, again, targeted for kids, there is our puppet show, Where is the Moon? The puppet show will be followed by a puppet workshop to create your own puppets. We have holiday celebrations, ice celebration on Saturday, December 13th. We have Take Your Photo with Santa also on December 13th. Our senior social this month is on December 18th, featuring TST and special guest Timeless. Everything is free. Everything's on the park's website. Also, we're on social media, on Instagram in particular. You can follow us, get all the flyers there, as well as pick up flyers in the park if you prefer. In terms of capital improvements, our North Stair Tower project, we finished redoing the stairs, we finished redoing the elevator. There were some fabrication issues with the cladding for the tower, and that will kick in again with the cladding scheduled to go up starting either very, very late this calendar year or very early next calendar year. It'll take just a handful of months. The stair tower and elevator will be fully operational, completely safe throughout, no interruption, just a little more construction presence. And again, I want to thank our neighbors, Riverside Park. John, thank you for your incredible cooperative spirit throughout, because we have to collaborate on the footprint. We have our friends meeting, not this Saturday, but Saturday the 13th. It's always the second Saturday of every month, 10:30 in the morning until noon. It's in the park, in the main cultural building, we call it, upstairs in rehearsal room B. Everyone is welcome. As many of you probably know, Ann Rocker is still recovering from surgery after a fall where she broke a bone. But we are very much making her proud by continuing these meetings and reporting back to her how we pack the room. So do your part. Come and pack the room. Make Ann happy. And that's the nutshell. Unless there are any questions or if there's time for questions.
Thank you, Leslie. I know we are eager to have you join us maybe next month to give us a sort of larger presentation on how the capital projects have unfolded. So maybe we'll make space next month to hear about how
That would
these
be-
amazing projects have.
Okay.
I would love to. Thank you.
All right, we've got Mallory with the Learning Garden.
Hi there. Yes, thank you. Very exciting things happening over at the Learning Garden at Riverbank State Park. We're finishing up our fall season strong. We just had an evening of herbal creations, so you can check out the hort.org/events. Thank you for your patience because now there is a full listing of our very specific offerings. So when you go to that website, you'll see who's teaching the class, what exactly they're teaching on. So for example, art in the garden tomorrow, it'll tell you that we're creating evergreen ornamentals. So check those out for our last fall sessions, including Mountain and Alpine Ecology Day for Family Pharmacy on Saturdays, kitchen edible wreath making, evergreen crafts, and more. And from December 21st through January 3rd, while our programs don't go dormant as we reset for winter programs, our greenhouse will remain open. So come through each day. If you haven't come for a program but want to see the space, it's a great time to just come for tea. We'll also have each day a different set of self-guided activities for you around all things plants. So come through for that to come stay warm but still be around plants. And lastly, thank you to everyone who came and supported our Hort Greenhouse interns, the high school aged interns, for their market bag giveaway. We gave away 120 bags of farm fresh produce, and they were so excited to do that pop-up. And actually last piece is that we'll be starting our winter programs right for January 4th. So the greenhouse will remain open, the garden as well. Come and visit us, and then we'll have all our winter programs listed for you for next month.
Yeah, we've got public schools with an extra long winter recess this year, so folks will need things to do and places to go. So thank you
Please
for
come
being open.
through. Please come through.
Any questions for Mallory? Okay, so we'll move down to Josh. Riverside Park and West Harlem Piers. Any
Yes,
announcement?
yes. Well, I very quickly mentioned Gary Ruffman earlier, joining us as the park manager. We've been operating for almost a year without the help of a park manager, and we're very excited to have him with us. He brings a lot of experience, and with regard to West Harlem Piers Park, just a reminder: please come this Saturday afternoon at 4:30 for the tree lighting. Wear a heavy coat. It's going to be cold, but that's okay. And it's a special event every year. So we hope you can make it and join us.
What day is that?
Saturday the 6th.
Saturday, December 6th.
At what time?
Starts at 4:30.
Thank you.
Thank
Gary,
you.
welcome.
Thanks.
Glad to
Nice
have
to meet you all.
Awesome. All right, we've got Stephanie Caban with Riverside Park Conservancy.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad that we were able to present about the West Harlem Forest. So look out for more info on that. I have so many ideas of how to talk with community and kind of encourage community to come out and support the forest. Yeah. So anyway, as Merritt said in the presentation, we did have so many volunteer projects this year, ranging from anywhere from 3 volunteers to a corporate group of like 80 volunteers. We had 81 projects in the northern part of the park, which spans from 122nd Street, Socorro Park, all the way up to 181st Street. So throughout that 3-mile stretch, we've had 81 volunteer projects, either doing trash pickup or tending to the goats or removing introduced species or weeds. And I forget the number, but it equal to about 400-ish volunteers from March to November. So congratulations to the entire community for coming out, showing out, and just being amazing. It's been such a joy to work with community, and I'm so excited to do that again in the new year. I just have one update. We are going to have Snow Corps this winter. Snow Corps is just a dedicated group of individuals who are lovely and want to come help us shovel snow. So in the event of a snowstorm, we do get out really early and shovel all the staircases in the park. And so we'll have 2 main locations where we're going to need volunteers for anybody who's willing and available. We usually start around 7 o'clock, so we're asking volunteers to come at 8 a.m. to help shovel snow. We'll provide all the tools that you need, and if you can come for a half hour or 2 hours or 10 minutes, whatever help we can get is great. 2 locations that we're specifically asking for volunteers is Team in Place and Riverside Drive, the Team in Place Gardens. So that's near 122nd, 123rd Street, as well as 153rd Street and Riverside Drive. There's a good set of staircases there. So for anybody who wants to come help and be a part of Snow Corps, I put my email in the chat. And Veronica as well knows my email and happy to she's happy. Please share that with anybody who asks.
And I'll just echo what Shannon said earlier. You've been an amazing bridge builder, innovator, ahead of the curve on needs for the community, and it's great having you at the helm.
It's been an honor.
All right, so we'll move on to Takashi with New York City Historic Harlem Parks.
Hi, good night, everyone. How are you doing? Thank you for having us on the call, and I hope you all had a great holiday. We have a lot of tree lighting events this weekend, in addition to Riverside Park. Morningside and St. Nicholas are both having their tree lighting event on Saturday, this coming Saturday, December 6th. For Morningside, theirs is from 4:30 to 6 p.m. and that's going to be at 120th Street and Morningside Avenue. You can join the Friends of Morningside Park for tree lighting. There's going to be line dancing, ornament making, refreshments, and more. The tree itself will be lit at 5:45 p.m. For St. Nicholas, their event is a bit shorter. It is from 5 to 6 p.m. and that will be at 135th Street and St. Nicholas Avenue. There will be music, crafts, and refreshments. So lots of options in the community to come out and bundle up, of course, but get some nice hot cocoa and refreshments and see a beautiful tree be lit. Both trees are actually living trees where the lights are added on. For the Parks Department, we also have some job openings and availabilities. So there is the Parks Enforcement Patrol has openings, and they have their role posted on the NYC Parks job website. We've also started our lifeguard recruitment. I've mentioned this last month, but we're still in the process of looking for lifeguards. So if you know anyone who has took swimming classes, even if this was like 4 to 5 years ago, please let them know about the lifeguard. We have qualifying exams right now. It's a really good paying job for young people, and it's the qualifying exams are for right now, but then they do have a training course as well during our off season. So please take a look at the parks website and you can find more information on our lifeguard recruitment and where you can take that qualifying test. And I'm a bit early on this one, but Mulch Fest is also going to be of course, the day after Christmas from December 26th to January 12th. You can drop your trees off at Morningside or St. Nicholas, and then we'll have the chipping site in Marcus Garvey is a chipping site, so we'll be chipping on January 10th and 11th. So feel free to enjoy the holiday season, and I hope to see you out in the park.
Thank you so much. I guess we'll close off with Matt.
Hey, good evening, everyone. One other event that we wanted to highlight, and once we have an official flyer, we'll send it along with the West Harlem Art Fund and the Amateur Astronomy Association on December 27th at Morningside Park on the ball field from 5 to 7. They're going to be bringing out some equipment so people can look up into the stars. So hopefully we'll have a nice clear evening for that. And then the other thing that I wanted to highlight, Riverside is the only park to get a new district park manager, Stephen Cunningham, who's on the call with us. We have a new district park manager he covers community board 7 and 9. So he'll be joining these monthly community board meetings. So we just would love to have him introduce himself to the board.
Welcome, Stefan.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Thank you for the welcome. Hello, everyone. I don't know if you can see me. My camera's a little messed up right now, but I'm eager to get started working with you all and appreciate the warm welcomes.
Nice to have you. All right. So December is full with lots of activity in our parks. I love when they all sync up. You can do sort of a circuit, right? Do tree lightings and all the spots. But I'm wishing everyone a happy holiday and thank you for just keeping our community strong with all of our service and being good stewards. So thank you.
I just want to thank Matt for in Donelin Square for the wrought iron gate. You're a man true to your word. Thank you so much for being so cooperative with the community and our requests.
You got it.
Richard,
I will pass the thanks along to our shop's welders that repaired the fence.
Thank you, I appreciate you. Thank you very, very much.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the closed session portion of our agenda. Thank you everyone for joining tonight. I'll ask the Community Board 9 LPP members to stay on, and everyone else have a great holiday. Thank you for closing out 2025 with us. We'll see you next month.
Thank you, everyone.
That are charged
All right.
at the sign. But because of the patient, that's big, it's even more.
If we have any public guests, thank you for coming out. Make sure you sign in so we can add you to our listserv. And we're gonna move into a closed session now. Thank you.
And the
Alright.
only place to put it is up top, but that's.
Quick question before I head out, if that's fine.
Yes, Kate.
Hi, is there a way where I can find the agenda for today's meeting? I tried looking on the website and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it was sent out by our district manager, district office.
Ash,
So I can make sure you get another one. Is your email in the chat?
I'll put it right now.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
make sure you get one when we adjourn.
so.
Thank you.
But it's sent out along with the public link to the meeting.
But it is that I can put it.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Straight self-free. Okay, and so close.